Grain Elevator and Processing Society is hosting their annual GEAPS Exchange Conference at the Kansas City Convention Center, February 22nd through the 25th of 2025. GEAPS Exchange is the biggest and best show in the grain industry with more than 400 exhibitors and 45 hours of education. It is the best place to find grain handling and processing operation solutions all in one place. GEAPS Exchange brings together industry professionals from across the world to help build professional networks and connect with the products you need. Come walk the trade show floor, take part in live demonstrations, innovation stations, and see new equipment. Make valuable connections through a variety of fun and exciting social events. Early bird pricing ends January 28th. Learn more and register at jeeps.com/exchange. At the time of this recording, the big global event in the grain handling and processing industry, GEAPS Exchange, has just concluded. Listen in to hear about the monumental event with John Caupert, the visionary executive director of the Grain Elevator and Processing Society. Fresh from the excitement of Exchange 2024 in Kansas City, Missouri, Caupert shares his reflections, highlights, and insider insights on the event that celebrated the grain handling and processing industry. Hello and welcome to the show. Welcome to the Whole Grain Podcast. My name is Jim Lenz, your host and producer of the show and the Director of Global Training and Education at GEAPS, where the mission of the Grain Elevator and Processing Society is to champion, connect, and serve the global grain industry and our members. At GEAPS, we work to be the global community and thought leader for the grain industry, which feeds and fuels the world. Thanks for listening today and for joining the network of thousands of other grain handling and processing professionals across the globe, taking strategic steps to grow professionally. The Whole Grain Show gives you the competitive advantage to win at work so you can make more of an impact. In this episode of Whole Grain, our guest, John Caupert, Executive Director of GEAPS, offers a recap of Exchange 2024. From the record-breaking attendance to standout moments, Caupert paints a vivid picture of the energy and enthusiasm that permeated the trade show floor, educational sessions, and numerous networking events. Discover how GEAPS Exchange serves as a catalyst for industry advancement. This episode provides a peek behind the success of GEAPS Exchange and charts the course for a brighter future in the grain handling and processing industry. All right, we have John Caupert, Executive Director of GEAPS. We are here talking about post-exchange items. John, thanks for being on Whole Grain again. Appreciate it.
Jim, thank you. Great to be with you again.
Now, we're going to use this episode to kind of put a focus on some of your insights and reflections on the exchange that just concluded at the time of the recording. So just big picture-wise, how do you feel the event went this year? What were some of your big highlights or standout moments from GEAPS Exchange 2024?
Jim, Exchange 2024 for me was unique in that while I have attended Exchange in the past, this was obviously my first opportunity in this role as executive director. If I could sum up Exchange overall into one word, I would say fantastic. Now, fantastic is a pretty broad term, right? And a term without true definition, but truly from the first person to arrive at Exchange to the last person that left Exchange 2024, this was an exchange that was one for the record books in every possible way. There were some things that stood out. There were some individual moments that stood out. There were some experiences that stood out. Beginning, I believe, with the Get Acquainted Party on Saturday evening. We had a record number of attendees. We had a mechanical bull. Who has a mechanical bull at an event like this, right? We had a live band. It was just a fantastic experience. And then Sunday morning, Sandy Gennaro. Sandy Gennaro is known worldwide as a rock and roll drummer. He's performed with the likes of Joan Jett and Cyndi Lauper, Michael Bolton, in front of more than 1 billion people around the globe. But who would have thought that a legend in rock and roll would deliver such a powerful message on what it is to lead, what it is to do things for others without expecting anything in return. The little things that you do for others, extremely powerful. Now, a highlight, I understand, for a number of attendees was the fact that yours truly sat in on drums and dropped a beat for We Will Rock You, which was kind of fun as well. I guess, Jim, I'd conclude my comments on just the overall aspect and standouts of Exchange is just being so much energy, Jim. The energy that was in the convention center, the enthusiasm amongst the attendees, and then just the unlimited networking and educational opportunities that Exchange and Exchange only offers. Just a fantastic experience.
Yeah, 45 hours of educational opportunities in different formats and great opportunities for people to connect. What was great, there's a lot of new attendees there. There was a special energy going on during the event. Can you provide our listeners what the numbers look like in terms of attendance and engagement this year?
Sure can, Jim. We shattered previous attendance numbers, and attendance numbers mean something. They mean something because it demonstrates that there's interest. There's interest in the subject matter. There's interest in the topics. There's interest in the educational sessions. There's interest in the expo. We topped 3,700 in-person attendees at Exchange 2024, complemented by a completely sold out expo of nearly 400. It was just fantastic, Jim.
That's great. Any particular trends, any particular observations regarding attendee participation in the educational sessions and networking events?
Jim, there were some standouts, and particularly in the educational sessions. A number of the sessions where I popped my head in the room, and even more that I heard about, those educational sessions were standing room only, which is fantastic. We were finding chairs. We were dragging in chairs so more people could sit down. Standing room only in an educational session, what a great challenge to have, right? That's a fantastic challenge to have. Why? Because it demonstrates that the Exchange Planning Committee was spot on in not only the subject areas that were selected for those educational sessions, but that they nailed it in determining and choosing who the speakers would be on those. So yeah, clearly an observation was how well attended the educational sessions were.
Reflecting on some of those themes for this year's Exchange, what do you believe were some of those prevalent topics or issues discussed among attendees? What any notable trends or innovations showcased by exhibitors and presenters?
Jim, these are great questions, and they're great areas. I'm going to talk first about kind of a central theme that was discussed with me. I had a number of employers who were present. So they were employers who may or may not be an exhibitor, may or may not be a sponsor, but they were there in some form. And a central theme of conversation around me was the ongoing and continuing labor shortage, and that there needs to be a pipeline developed of new employees, the workforce of the future. And Jim, I always view challenge as an opportunity. And in there lies an opportunity, attracting the next generation of the workforce, enhancing the training opportunities that are available. And these are all perfectly aligned with who GEAPS is as an organization. Now that is complemented by things that we saw in the expo. There clearly are some notable trends. Here they are: automation and technology. The grain and grain processing industries, they're becoming more and more automated via the adoption of new technology. This in and of itself, it provides opportunity for this next generation of the workforce. Who are these folks going to be? And Jim, we have to be, as an organization, as an industry, we have to be positioned, as I feel we are, to provide the education and training necessary for these novel skills that are going to be required in a more automated industry.
There's a lot of opportunity, a lot of challenges, and we look forward to serving our members and our customers of GEAPS. As you kind of reflect on your conversations that you had for those who were present at Exchange, what kind of feedback did you receive from attendees, from exhibitors, speakers regarding their experiences at Exchange 2024?
Yeah, overwhelmingly, Jim, attendees, again, whether they are an attendee, whether they are an exhibitor, whether they are a sponsor, or a combination of the above, they love the location. They love the venue. Kansas City is such a gracious host. But Jim, this makes sense. And the reason that it makes sense is when you look geographically at where Kansas City is located, Kansas City is within driving distance of more than 50% of all of U.S. agricultural production. Meaning you can put a couple of employees, you can put yourself in a car, a drive, and within hours, you're there. That's so much more proficient, efficient, and affordable to getting on a plane, traveling halfway across the country. So folks love the location, and our host is exceptional.
Still, you talk about the United States, it kind of brings up discussion of a lot of exhibitors and attendees from outside the United States, actually. We had a great showing. Do you recall about approximately how many nations or countries were represented at Exchange this year?
Yeah, Jim, we had more than 24 countries represented, 200 plus individuals from those countries. It's fantastic to see this. That, Jim, is an area that I in particular am interested in. I know that our board is, but I'm very interested in how we can expand upon that and how we can draw even more of an international presence to future exchanges.
In what ways do you, John, believe GEAPS Exchange contributes to the advancement of the grain handling and processing industry, in general and especially this event?
Jim, I truly believe that Exchange it's the perfect blend of information, of education, and networking. It's a balance. And when you take the educational sessions, the information that is provided in those education sessions, as well as in the expo, and you complement that by seeing up close and personal the latest products, the latest technologies, the latest services that are available throughout the grain and grain processing industry, I just again believe it's an exceptional way to advance this greater industry that we serve.
Looking ahead, how do you envision the future of GEAPS Exchange evolving to meet the needs of industry professionals? I know it may be too early for that, and there's surveys to be looked at that people completed, but any initial thoughts here, even though we just completed Exchange and there's more analysis to be done?
Jim, I do have some thoughts. First off, you hit it already when you talked about the surveys. We solicit feedback from attendees, exhibitors, and sponsors. We do that for a reason because they come there for a reason. They spend their money for a reason. Therefore, we need to utilize their feedback. And we utilize that feedback to present the best possible exchange moving forward. If you don't mind though, Jim, what I'd like to do is I'd like to spend just a couple minutes about attracting not only more attendees, but also the next generation of the workforce to Exchange. And I'm going to give Jim just a couple of examples that I believe our listeners and our audience will truly connect with. First off, starting with high school FFA kids. If one attends the annual Farm Progress Show, an annual event in August, it rotates back and forth between the state of Iowa and the state of Illinois. Jim, you'll see hundreds, if not thousands, of high school FFA kids in attendance, getting them introduced to agriculture and the agriculture industry at an early age. What about college students, including collegiate FFA? I'd love to see the aisles of the expo in particular filled with college students exploring future opportunities while recognizing that the grain and grain processing industries are just unlimited with upward potential for them. And then finally, connecting with and attracting these early career employees, these folks that are at the entry stage of their career. Jim, we offer 45 hours of in-person educational learning opportunities. Let's fill the rooms moving forward with these early entries, these early career folks. These things and more, we have so much to build upon.
Opportunities there. They are the future of the industry, and it's a good move to support them in any way possible. Now, as we wrap up our conversation, is there anything else you'd like to share with our listeners about GEAPS Exchange or the future direction of the organization?
I would, Jim. First off, again, to our attendees, to our exhibitors, and to our sponsors. Absent them, exchange doesn't happen. Second, I just want to remind all listeners that I, along with the entire GEAPS team, we're going to continue to work tirelessly to promote not just what exchange means, but what it means to be a member of GEAPS. Jim, I coined a phrase that I've used before, and I will continue to utilize. And I think it really defines what it means to be a GEAPS member. GEAPS, we're a thriving community of thought leaders. We're advancing the careers of those that work in the grain and the grain processing industries. How do we do that? We do that by bringing members awareness, information, education, and networking opportunities. To all of our members that are out there, we thank you for your membership. For those who are currently not a member, we welcome you. We ask you to join this thriving community, to join this family that is 3,300 plus strong and growing.
All right. I love it. Thank you so much. John, you were out there meeting and greeting people all throughout the event. It was just great to see as our new executive director, and I love the way that you're moving the organization forward, and appreciate all your support and everything you do. Thank you so much.
Jim, I thank you and the team as well.
All right. Again, thank you, everybody, for attending the GEAPS Exchange 2024. Be on the lookout at jeeps.com/exchange for more information about future information. We thank you for completing those surveys to help us build next year's program, and especially thank the sponsors of GEAPS Exchange 2024. Again, as John just said, we couldn't do that without you, and we hope it was a very positive experience for you all. Thank you so much, and thank you, John, for being a guest here in the Whole Grain Show.
Thank you.
Listeners of Whole Grain, we thank you for making time in your day to join us in this episode. We continue to see the podcast grow in our listenership, with grain professionals from 66 countries already connecting with the show. You can catch the show on your favorite podcast app. Just do a search for Whole Grain. Be sure to hit the subscribe button so you can easily stay connected with the show. The Whole Grain podcast can also be found on the GEAPS website at jeeps.com/wholegrain. The Whole Grain Show is a production of GEAPS, the Grain Elevator and Processing Society. The Grain Elevator and Processing Society is the largest organization dedicated to advancing the grain handling and processing industry. Be sure to check out jeeps.com, GEAPS.com. You've just heard about this record-breaking event in the grain handling and processing industry. I know many of you are already asking about GEAPS Exchange 2025. Make plans now to attend 2025 GEAPS Exchange at the Kansas City Convention Center, same place as this year. It's taking place February 22nd through the 25th of 2025 in Kansas City, Missouri, in the United States. Be sure to refer to jeeps.com/exchange for all of your exchange-related inquiries. Whole Grain offers a terrific opportunity to spotlight your business through audio ads. You can also be featured as a global thought leader by serving as a guest in the show as we work to advance the grain handling and processing industry. If you and your organization want to sponsor an episode and be a featured guest on the Whole Grain Show, please reach out to me, Jim Lenz, Director of Global Education and host and producer of the show. We have an in-house audio production studio that can service your needs from the comfort of a virtual environment. For all of your needs and interests, please reach out to me. My email is james@jeeps.com. We look forward to connecting with you. Continue listening. Share the news of the show with your friends and colleagues. Have yourself a great day, and thanks for listening to Whole Grain.